Welcome to another episode of our CV Weekly podcast. Today's guest will include founder, promoter, producer of the Joshua Tree Music Festival, Barnett English, Kenneth Churchill here from West Coast Cannabis, and also DJ Ay-Lex Song and a performance by Josh Heinz. And today's episode sponsor is Rocks and Records, located in downtown Indio, offering vinyl records, CDs, crystals, and fossil rocks. They support the local desert music scene. And I'm sporting one of the rings today. All right, let's get started. Our next guest is Barnett English, who is the owner and producer of the Joshua Tree Music Fest. And we've been sitting here having a good old time, haven't we, Barnett?
Yeah, thank goodness the camera was not on.
We should have gotten all that recorded because it would have been really good, entertainment, good TV.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
We appreciate you making the track down the hill.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, let's start off by talking about how long you've been doing Joshua Tree Music Festival and how you got started doing it.
Sure, yeah. I was younger then because it's been 23 years. It was April 9 through 11 of 2003. We had our very first festival. And then in 2006, we started a fall festival. So we've been having 2 a year since 2006. So we just had our 42nd music festival. 2 of those are virtual in 2020. So we've had 42 music festivals over 22 and a half years.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So it's a lot, yeah, indeed, and a lot of the folks come back to the festivals every time. So there's like this huge, massive family, and it's grown into something I never imagined. When I first started it, you ask. I've been going to music festivals for since '93. I started a coffee business, quit my job, started building a coffee cart, looked for places to go sell coffee, and a friend of mine said, "You should go to this music festival." So I called him up and went to this festival. And after 4 days of selling coffee, making money, dancing, making some friends that are still my best friends today, having the time of my life, I swore to myself, okay, well, this is all I'm ever going to do. Why would I want to do anything else? I'm just going to go to music festivals. So I was selling coffee at music festivals, like 25 a year, for almost 8 years. And then I, on a whim, went to this campground in Joshua Tree. And I woke up there, I drove in the night, there was no moon out, so I had no idea what Joshua Tree looked like. And I woke up and I was looking at the national park and the Copper Mountains and
beautiful,
this San Gorgonio and San Jacinto and with snow on it. And I was like, you're blown away. And so I asked the campground owner, it's like, hey, well, you should have a music festival here, like a real music festival. I was there for a small didgeridoo gathering.
Right.
And after me bugging her for like 3 days, she finally goes, well, if you're so smart, why don't you do it yourself? So
balls in your court.
Yeah, dare taken. I was like, okay, well, if you're serious, then I guess I should move here now and let's have a festival in the spring. So I literally moved to Joshua Tree, started the first festival, had a home, and lived in Joshua Tree all within 5.5 months of ever setting foot there.
Wow.
So
that was
just
quick.
Instantly, like, okay, I'm going to do this. And it's good that I didn't think very hard about it because I wouldn't have done it. Never would have done it if I actually researched everything involved and knew what it takes to make this happen. I never would have started it. So that's actually a valuable lesson: is don't research something too hard, or you'll never start it.
Right. And just jump in.
So yeah, just dove in the deep end. I figured it'd be easier to learn everything by having a festival than it would be by making phone calls and spreadsheets and budgets for 2 years and overanalyzing something. So yeah, we just had our first music festival. So I invited all my friends that I knew from 8 years of going to music festivals, and we had 500 people there for a totally disorganized, amazing, fun time.
Yeah.
And here we are 42 festivals later.
Yeah. And how has it grown over the years for you?
It's grown in a really cool way, not in a good business way, but a cool way. The end effect is really awesome because it just grew organically. If you came to the first festival, you brought someone else to the second festival, and so on and so on. So it literally grew organically, and so it really does have this amazing community, family feel. It's palpable. It's real. It's not like I ever had a ton of money and I advertised to the world, and then the world showed up as total strangers.
Right.
It's a radical difference. And people can feel it. So even people that last week when they came to the festival that had never been, they're like, wow, everybody's so like sweet and nice and lovely and cool and laid back and like chill, and like it really feels it. So that's the beautiful thing about how it grew. So it's just grown slowly, and so we're still, in the grand scheme of things, a tiny music festival. We have 3,500 people on site. Coachella has,
which is still
250,000 on
up
site.
on the mountain. And there's a different feeling I hear from everybody with that festival versus any other festival. It's more, like you say, family oriented. And just more relaxed and chill, and
and
there's a different vibe.
A lot of that's by design. We try to cultivate a vessel, a container that makes people feel at ease. We've built all these installations and seating areas and shaded spots and there's not a lot of billboards and flashing signs, and it's just very relaxed and organic and outdoors. Being in the outdoors is amazing, and so that adds to it for sure. So we were talking a little bit about this earlier, but so what are some of your highlights over the years? Oh man, some of the highlights
from the festival.
There's so many. There's new highlight reel in my brain after every festival, but musically speaking, I have to say that some of the highlights, we've always booked artists from around the world. Even from the very first festival, I've always tried to have a diverse lineup, because I just feel, after going to all those festivals, I've been to some festivals that are all reggae or all bluegrass or all country or all the above. Love all those types of music, but not 4 days and nights of one type of music. I want to hear a bunch of different types of music. So we've always brought artists from around the world, and some of those artists, international artists, have been the most memorable performances. Like there's a heavy metal band from Mongolia called The Who, H-U, and they played their first festival in America in 2018 at our festival. And I mean, they're literally headbanging, playing these ancient instruments that are plugged in, and they're wearing black leather and ancient jewelry, and they never cracked a smile. And it was one of the most memorable shows ever. I mean, they were 75-year-old friends of mine banging their heads up on the railing and going, and like Fatimata Diawara, she's a Malian queen, basically, an African performer who doesn't sing in English, and no one understands a word she's saying, but yet it was one of the most moving experiences ever. So So really, honestly, some of those, the highlight reel, are these international artists that people would say, well, I don't know who that is. I'm not gonna like them. And
but they get to see and hear these people and experience something really new and exciting.
And learn something about their culture and hear something different. And then so people walk away. So that's kind of fun for me, is to hear people walking away from a show going, oh my gosh, what just happened? I never thought I would like something like that, and I love it. So that's kind of fun. That's a fun part of the endeavor.
So we were talking earlier, and we have to talk about this. You have to share another highlight from the festivals. So Barnett likes to kind of stay under the radar, and he really doesn't put his photo up on his website or anything like that. And so he's kind of been incognito over the years.
Yeah, totally.
With the festival, but
totally. Like, I'm really shy. Generally, I'm a back of house person. I don't need to be on the stage. Like, to get on a microphone and talk to a crowd would be terrifying to me. So I've never gotten on stage, never announced a band, never said thank you on the stage. I have a friend who does shares a lot of words on the microphone for me, because it's all about the people. It's all about the people that bought tickets. It's all about the artist that's on stage. But then one year, I can't remember when it was, 2012 maybe. A friend of mine, she was doing a set, and it was a theatrical set, 7 stages, 7 acts for 7 chakras, and at one point, someone holds up a popsicle stick with a picture on it, and that picture is of me. And I see that picture, and I in like 1/10 of a second, I think, there is no way someone would ever print one of those.
No.
And so, sure enough, like within 2 seconds, there's 500 pictures of me up on a popsicle stick in the crowd. And now the whole audience knows who I am. So for the rest of the weekend, outed. Like thousands of people came up to me going, I didn't know you were Barnett. So great to meet you. We've been coming for 9 years. This is my daughter, Jane. She was here when she was 2. Now she's 11. And, you know, so it was a beautiful thing. I
Yeah.
got to meet all these people. But it was a little overwhelming at first. I was like, oh my God, I've been outed.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, exactly.
But it was great. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So now it's because I got to have these conversations. I'm like, oh my gosh, you've been here how many times? And
Yeah,
it's
and
a
you
small
get to
festival and I've never
get
met
the
you.
feel
Like,
of the
so it was
people
really, really,
from it.
really, it
Yeah,
was really a beautiful thing.
yeah, and it means a
I
lot
was
to the
kinda shocked.
people too, to
Yeah.
meet you and to be able to express and tell you what the festival has meant to them.
Yeah,
as
I mean, because
well.
you can go to a lot of events and it's not a personal thing. It's
No.
like I'm at a corporate event. This is a corporate sponsorship. There is no people behind it.
Right, no
And
actual
that-
face. Yeah,
It's definitely not the feel at our festival. Like all the volunteers are 90% local, and
Yeah.
most of our crew is all local, and so that is something that actually makes our festival is really kind of special. A lot of the artists that tour around the world and come play there, that's one of their most popular compliments to me is like, wow, where did you find all these people? Like the guy that let us
Yeah.
in, and then the gal over here, and then that person that will call, and then the person that just brought me that drink. Everybody's so freaking cool. What's up with that? And I'm like, they're all my friends. They all live like under that rock over there, and under that rock. See that rock? There's people live under that. So that's a beautiful thing about the festival
Joshua
too.
tree.
Is it's really a community
Yeah,
thing, and people can feel it. So yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, it touches. It is a people feel like, wow, okay,
Yeah,
cool,
it
we're
resonates.
being welcomed here by people. So that's important. Yeah.
So, how do you book your talent? Do you do it or?
I do. Yeah,
Oh, so you
I'm
do-
obsessed. I'm a
Oh,
junkie.
okay. We're so much alike because we talked for a while beforehand. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm obsessed. I'm a music
Hands-on,
junkie.
yeah.
I started buying albums when I was 10 years old, and I didn't have a lot of money at age 10, but I would split the album with my brother who is 3 years older, and so we'd go to Sears Roebuck and buy an album for $5. So that was, $2.50. And I was hooked, I mean, I was always buying albums, and then by the time I was in high school, I probably had 700 or 800 mixtapes that I was making, and had a collection of friends, and we all would buy albums, and we'd share our albums, and then we'd record them on TDK SA90s and
Right.
Maxell
uh-huh.
90-minute tapes. And so
Yeah.
I've just always been collecting music. And so when I started the music festival, I'm like, oh, this is just like what I've always been doing my whole life, except it's a live mixtape now.
Yeah,
So I'm booking the artist just like I was always seeking my favorite song, my next favorite band. And so I'm still doing that. Like I woke up this morning, I was listening to 10 or 11 new bands that I'd never heard in my life.
that's
Watching
so cool.
videos and of
Yeah.
their live performances, which we can do now on the internet, which is amazing.
Right.
Back when I was a kid growing up, it's like, no, you just really had to
Yeah, you had to
spend
do it.
hours in a record store and
Yeah,
reading only a handful of magazines back then, Rolling Stone and Spin and
yeah,
Cream. And
exactly.
and that was
Those were
it.
the three big ones.
yeah,
What was the first album you ever bought?
I'm pretty sure, I can't say for sure the first, but I know that it was James Taylor, Sweet Baby James, and Three Dog Night, Golden Biscuits.
Yeah,
That was a big hit for this 10-year-old in 1973. Gosh, even had John Denver's first album, Bill Cosby album,
yeah,
George Carlin, Class Clown.
yeah. All those old classics.
So, but then I could just quickly, having an older brother was awesome because he's a senior in high school and I'm in 9th grade. So
I had an older brother and sister, so I got.
So I'm
a
like
lot of
listening to all their
from
music
them.
too.
Yeah,
I'm like, cool.
exactly.
Never heard that.
Uh-huh.
So being the youngest is
Yeah.
always helpful for getting an earlier music download
Yeah, exactly.
than some of your friends that don't have older siblings.
Yeah, I always enjoyed that because I got the best of both of their music, which was totally different,
Yeah.
And I think Bad Company was the Black
That was
Album
definitely
was
big. Straight
yeah.
Shooter.
Yeah,
That was a good one. And I see that Paul Rogers
yeah,
probably lives a couple miles from here, I think.
yeah. They
And
have a
he,
part-time home here. Yeah, and he's
And I saw he put out a video last month. He did
with the Changels.
there's a kids school here.
Yeah, the Changels.
And they did one of his songs. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was
so
very cool.
awesome to
He's
see
such a
these
great guy,
high
him and
school
his
kids
wife.
sing
Yeah.
his tune.
Yeah.
That was killer. But yeah, he's amazing. And I loved all that stuff. And but like a lot of people, they love music when they're teenagers and young, but then they kind of stop seeking it out. Well, I never stopped because I'm just always a junkie, and
Yeah, I never
always
did
about
either.
spent a really unhealthy amount of any money I've ever made in my life on albums and CDs.
Yeah, I still have all my albums.
Oh my gosh,
A good chunk of them. Yeah.
I lived in San Diego and had a mortgage that was so high I had to sell my albums quite a few times to
that
make
had to
rent.
be painful.
To make mortgage payment, I would have a yard sale on the 30th, going, okay, I guess I got to get rid of some more albums.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I don't have a record player, or a turntable, whatever, but I still have the albums.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, they're beautiful artwork.
Yeah, exactly. So if people want to get involved, I mean, you have all volunteers that work up there pretty much, right?
During the festival, we have like 160 volunteers, and then we have a crew of like 60 or 70 paid people during the festival. But there's vendors, and there's massage healers, and there's visual artists. We have 30 or so at every festival, and photographers and videographers, and I think there's probably 11 different applications on the Get Involved page of our website. So if you went there, and if you're a musician and you want to share your music with us, there's an application there. Or if you're a vendor selling your art that you make, or food vendors, all of it's on the website. So anybody can sign up any day of the week.
Okay.
And we're constantly looking at all the submissions. So it's
very cool.
Again, that's part of creating a festival that's really organic, is we have there's so many talented artists just in the Coachella Valley and Joshua Tree alone, visual artists and musicians,
Right.
So it's a fun way to meet everybody and be able to include them in the festival experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When is the next festival?
October 9.
October 9th.
9 through 12.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. We
I
just
love
had ours
fall
last
festivals.
week.
Yeah.
Fall is amazing. We just had our festival 10 days ago, and I don't know how I'm going to make it until October, because it's always so much fun that when one ends, I'm literally I might be physically exhausted, but mentally I'm on just levitating from, all the experiences of having spent 4 days and nights with all my best friends and meeting new people, and
very special.
And now this day and age, I mean, there's so much social anxiety. There's post-COVID traumatic stress disorder we've all got, and there's so much people living in a digital world and not actually communicating with humans and hugging people that I mean, I sound like a broken record because I've been saying this for a few years, but now I actually mean it more than ever. We do need to get together as humans.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be awesome if you and I go have lunch, we get together, we have a really great time, but it'd only be for a couple hours at the most.
Yeah.
But if you go to our festival, you're there from Thursday till Monday.
Having a really good time.
And that way we're actually going to run into each other 55 times.
Yeah.
And we're going to the conversation is going to build and build, and there's going to be more layers and layers. And we're actually going to share on such a deep level that you don't even do with your neighbors. Some of your neighbors you probably just wave to.
Yeah.
So it's really, that is actually, if you had to say what is the most important thing about the festival, it's the community of actually getting together and interacting, and young kids hanging out with old kids, and vice versa. And I mean, half the dance floor is gray hair.
Yeah.
And then there's kids hanging out too. So the mix of ages and the fact that you're all camping outside, most people have put their phones down, and we're actually just interacting as humans. I just feel like that's like our mission. That's our thing. Yeah. Yes, I love the music, and yes, I love the art, but that's actually really what motivates me to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
Is that, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So again, people can get in touch with you by going to your website, which is
JoshuaTreeMusicFestival.com.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to
talk about everything.
I'm so glad to hang out with you. I mean, we've
I know.
I think we've been email buddies now for a decade or more.
I know.
So it's great to hang out with you in person and to be a part of your new exciting venture, your new
thank you.
The new chapter.
And we've had you on our cover. You've been doing advertising with us and everything for years, actually.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been able to pick you out of a lineup. And so here we got to meet you, which is great.
I know. Yeah. And again, it comes back to the it's because we're here in person. I mean, we could have been on a Zoom for 2 hours and we
But it's
still would
still
not
not
have
the
connected
same. I agree.
the way we just did.
But I think that has a lot to do with how young we are.
Yes, that's it. Yes. Yes.
We're going to have Barnett back on another time,
Totally.
just so we can talk.
Yeah, we don't even have to talk about the music
about
festival.
old young people.
Yeah. There's something there. There's a concept there that I think we need to address.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why are we so delusional?
All right, my dear. Thank you so much again.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Barnett English, everybody.
Yay.
Desert Mirage Mobile Spa and Wellness, founded by a team of passionate wellness experts, featuring a plethora of high-quality spa services that offer ultimate convenience without sacrificing the luxurious experience of a traditional spa, right in your own home or office. Our next guest is Kenneth Churchill, and he is the co-founder and CEO of West Coast Cannabis Club. Hey, Kenny, how you doing?
Never been better. How we doing, Tracy?
Doing good, good. It's good to have you here. So let's talk about all things cannabis, and then we'll get to some other stuff.
I love where your head's at.
Yeah. So how did you get started in the cannabis industry? Because I know you've been in it for a while.
I've been in the cannabis industry for a significant portion of my life. When I started my business, I don't think my intention was to start necessarily a cannabis business. I was very lucky that when I was starting my business, it was a good time for cannabis. I grew up in Colorado, so it was really part of the culture for me. Right. When cannabis went recreational, I had a lot of friends who opened up businesses in Colorado and saw a lot of success. And so when I first moved out to California, 2013, 2014, I knew I wanted to start a business. I knew I was really good at selling weed. I had been doing it for most of my life. And so decided I might as well see where it could take me.
Throw your hat in the ring.
You might as well. Let's get a little weird and see where it goes. And so, I think it's funny. I love the Coachella Valley. I consider the Coachella Valley a home, and it will be for the rest of my life. I had never been here in my entire life until the day that I signed my lease for my dispensary in Cathedral City. And so the cannabis industry has brought me all over the place. Yeah. And I'm very thankful for what it's brought me.
Very cool. And how long have you been doing it here in the desert?
So I opened that store in Cathedral City in late 2016. Okay. We were one of the first stores open in the Coachella Valley. It was medical only at that time.
Right.
And been through a lot since then. But yeah, I started in the cannabis industry, the legal California cannabis industry in about 2014 when I first moved to California. I started a delivery service in San Diego. When I first moved to San Diego, I was living on my best friend's couch and really wanted to start a business, and found that was the best one for me to start with the $6,000 that I had. So, bought a couple pounds and threw a listing on Weed Maps, and the rest is history.
Wow, and here you are now.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride, that's for sure.
So you currently have 2 locations, correct?
I have 2 right now. I've got one in Madera, California, outside of Fresno, that I'm working on. I was up to 4 in the Coachella Valley at one point, sold a couple, and then I've got Indio and Cathedral City right now.
Okay. And I know the one in Indio is right next to Neil's Lounge.
Right next to the iconic Neil's Lounge.
Yeah.
Not only that, that location is exactly 1 mile from the polo fields for Coachella and Stagecoach.
Very convenient.
So by far the closest location. We had an absolutely wild April.
Oh, I'm sure.
Very happy to be in Indio. Talk about a city that is really investing in itself lately. Could not be more proud to be in Indio, and I think that location's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, I agree with that. And Indio is doing a lot of great things. Yeah,
I love it. It's by far the most populous city in the Coachella Valley, and then you get a city council who really is invested in trying to take a claim of the
Yeah.
east side of the Coachella Valley. You know, people call this whole area Palm Springs, and I love Palm Springs,
Right, but it's not.
but there's so much more to it. You know,
Yeah.
there's so much more to it, and I love places like Little Street Music Hall and the
Oh,
new
yeah,
Hi-Fi
same
bar
here.
that they have out there, and like I love seeing what's happening out there. And
Yeah,
then
the downtown area. That's so cool.
and it's all locals who
Yeah.
own these businesses.
I love that part
You
of
know,
it,
which
yeah.
is what I love to see. It's our peers, it's the people that we all know and love, investing in their community and seeing where it goes. So like I've got a
Cool.
thing with India right now for sure.
Very cool. Well, how has the business changed for you since it was medical only and now it's recreational and legal? How has it changed for you?
Yeah, that's a heavy question. We've been through a lot. You know, I think in the medical days when I first started this business, you know, to be truthful, I was just so happy and proud that I was able to start my own thing. Right.
Right.
I don't think that I had these aspirations of building, you know, a massive empire per se. But my goal was to be able to build a business that helped people. And in the medical days, that was really apparent.
Mhm.
You know, since then, when it became recreational, I think everybody saw that kind of golden goose, right? They saw the
Yeah.
carrot out there, and everybody started chasing it. And they spent a lot of money to try to become, you know, the Apple of cannabis or the Nike of cannabis and
Yeah.
what have you. And I think a lot of people may have lost the way for the reasons that we do what we do. And at the end of the day, the goal is to just take care of the people around you, you know, to help
Right.
support your community, to provide a service for people. And I think that we've seen kind of the full gambit, right? We've seen the industry go from really being grassroots, trying to take care of our patients and the people who are our patrons, to full let's try to just take over the world. And then that didn't work. And I think the industry is probably resetting itself a little bit,
Yeah.
where it's forcing companies to think small and to think about their real customers and their aspirations, and to try to help take care of their community a little bit more than just try to expand and take over California. So it's been a really interesting market. I mean, you know, with recreational sales came taxes.
Well, yeah, because everybody thinks that, you know, if you're in the cannabis industry, you're making bank if you
Right.
own a dispensary. And that isn't really the case. I mean, especially now it's saturated so much
Yeah.
in the desert. It's almost like the 7-Eleven one on every corner.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, saturation has been really difficult. I mean, you know, we went from when I first opened up my Cathedral City store, there was 5 in Cathedral City and there was 5 in Palm Springs. In the next 2 years, there was 35 in Palm Springs and 14 in Cathedral City. So we went from 10 to 39, almost 40 dispensaries in 2 years. And I'm not scared of competition.
No.
But you need to find a balance there.
Right.
And the hard part is that on top of the additional competition, city taxes were 10% and state taxes were 15%. And that's on top of the 8.5% that we had to pay for just a sales tax, you know, and
That's a big chunk.
It's 30, you know, almost 40% of your sales that are gone off the bat in sales taxes. And then, you know, landlords want to charge more, insurance wants to charge more. You have to pay your employees more. You're dealing with cash. You have to have security guards. And so, you know, at the end of the day, this is a business that the people who are running these businesses far and away care more about the cannabis industry and their communities than they do about actually making money.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Almost everybody that I know that owns dispensaries has the opportunity to make a lot more money doing something else.
Right.
I do this because I'm passionate about the industry, because I'm passionate about what I do. It's given me, you know, a salary, so I don't mean to be, you know, ungrateful for that.
Exactly,
but at the end of the day, you know, it's there's a lot of hurdles in this industry, that's for sure.
Yeah. And I know you have great products.
Thank
and
you.
I haven't been in the Cat City store in a long time.
Yeah,
But the Indio one. And so, I mean, I know you're constantly running specials and stuff like that.
Of course.
For people, which is really good. And like that.
We run as low as possible when it comes to operations, and so our goal is to try to be able to compete with the major players that are in Indio. We're the only store in Indio that's locally owned. All the other stores in Indio are owned by massive California corporations, right? Exactly. And so that can cause some difficulties for us when it comes to inventory specifically. It's a lot harder to carry the same inventory as somebody who's more or less the Walmart of cannabis, like Stizzy or some of these other competitors, right? And so for us, I think we have to find a way to really compete. And for us, that is to have just fire weed at as most reasonable of a price as possible. Yeah. And to have really good people who are there to take care of you.
Oh, your staff is
whenever
fantastic.
You walk in the door.
Yeah.
My staff is what makes our entire company.
Yeah.
It all comes down to having a relationship with the people who walk in that door.
Yeah. They make you feel like they've known you forever.
Absolutely.
That's really kind of cool.
Absolutely. And in many cases they have, because they're locals too, we hire locals. We hire people who are passionate about what we do. And so, I think when people come into a cannabis dispensary, there's an inherent nervousness to what they do, and so it's our job to make them comfortable. It's our job to make them know we're not trying to, overcharge you. We're not trying to screw you over. Right. You're not buying, weed from some random person in a CVS parking lot here. Right. This is you come in, ask questions.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about the products that we have here. Let's find the right thing for you. And I think that resonates well with our customers.
It does. And that's really important. I mean, having a bud tender.
Yeah, 100%.
That really knows their product and knows exactly, if you go in and tell them what you're looking for, they know what to offer you. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Never boring.
So I know you have a day job too. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So in addition to cannabis, I do a lot in the commercial real estate world. I work with the firm brokerage over in Palm Desert. I know you've been to our office once or twice. Come and say hello. And I love what I do over there. Commercial real estate is a consistent investment for me, so I like to stay in that world. But I've really been focusing on business brokerage lately, and selling and buying businesses here locally, reinvesting in the Coachella Valley, reinvesting in this business community. I think there's a lot of potential out here. And I really want to try to use my experience and my network to try to help other business owners, achieve their goals. And so I've been spending a lot of time buying and selling local businesses, and also just trying to help people find buyers for their businesses, especially here in the Coachella Valley when we have a little bit of an older community. There's a lot of business owners that are reaching towards that retirement age, and maybe don't have an exit plan. And so I've really tried to kind of come in and bring the ability for them to find somebody to buy these businesses and help them kind of reach that next stage of their lives.
Yeah. And that's really cool. It's totally different than cannabis.
It is. It's entrepreneurship. It's business ownership. It's networking. It's all. Cannabis is not necessarily different than any other business at the end of the day. We all have our problems. You guys have to deal with a lot of wild stuff. Right. No matter what, true. If you're going to put your name on a business, if you're going to put your money out there, we all have our ups and downs. And I think that it helps to work with somebody who's seen some of those ups and downs when it comes to trying to find that exit strategy. So that's been a really big passion for me over the last few months.
Okay. Do you have any intention at all of opening another store? Are you really comfortable right now with the 2 locations?
So I'm very comfortable right now with my 2 locations. I'm always open to opening new dispensaries in markets where it makes sense. I think the reality in California is there's just not as many markets that make sense anymore. We don't open up new cities very often to cannabis uses. And then even when you do, it's such a political hot point that it's very difficult to try to get into those cities. So, we just went through hell in the city of Riverside where, they took applications to try to get 14 dispensaries. We spent $60,000 in application fees and eventually were awarded a license in the city of Riverside. One of the only 14. They had 70 something applications. They gave 14 licenses. We were one of them. We moved forward, had our location. We were paying rent for over 2 years. They got a new city council, and then they decided they didn't want 14 dispensaries anymore.
Oh, wow.
And so they moved to 7. And of those 7, 3 were owned by Embark and 2 were owned by Stizzy. So 5 of those 7 dispensaries were owned by only 2 companies. And after well over $150,000 and well over 2 years of my life invested into trying to get this place open, they just decided they didn't want to have cannabis there anymore.
Yes.
And they just took it away. So it makes it really difficult. I love the cannabis industry. I want to try to make an impact in this industry as long as I can. I've been in it forever. I will never leave. But right now is an interesting time when it comes to expansion, for sure.
Well, you have the 2 stores that are conveniently located on both ends of the valley.
Yep.
Cathedral City and Indio. So I mean, you're kind of covered. We're
doing okay.
Yeah,
Cathedral
exactly.
City, 68828 Ramon Road. So that's right across the street from Wiener Schnitzel there on Ramon Road,
Right. Yep.
by the old Epidemic skate shop from back in the day. And then the Indio store is on Highway 111 in Madison, right next to Neil's.
Yeah.
So you can come in and buy some product and do a little karaoke on Wednesday nights, and you're good to go. There's no complaints.
One-stop shop. Before we go, what's one thing that people would be surprised to know about Kenny?
Oh man, I think a lot of people just assume that cannabis is, my entire life, and really entrepreneurship and business is really what I love to do.
Yeah.
Cannabis is something I kind of found myself in because I was looking for a really good opportunity. But the truth is, like, I've always been an entrepreneur. I've been, buying and selling things since I was a kid, and so I just love business all in general. And probably just that, I'm in the Coachella Valley forever. Like I love this place. I didn't know what I was getting into when I moved out here.
Right.
I thought I was going to be a little bit nervous about the heat in the summer.
Yeah.
But it really doesn't bother me. So
yeah, you kind of get used to it.
I've lived in the coldest places on the planet.
I have too.
I'm not shoveling snow anymore.
Oh my God.
I'm done scraping windshields.
6 feet of snow and trying to get out your door just to,
I love the Coachella Valley.
Yeah.
I can't wait to call this home forever.
Yeah. I feel the same way at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're here.
I've settled in, and it's a cool place to live. And
I love the people. There's so much passion in this area. There's so many entrepreneurs. We talked a lot about Indio and how everybody's starting businesses out there. They're all locals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I love that there's so much support for locals out here.
I do too.
Despite the fact that there's a lot of Canadians and tourists and all of that, at the end of the day, if you're here when it's 120, you're our people, and we'll find a way to support.
That's right. Exactly. Well, I really appreciate having you on today and coming in and talking about all that stuff. And then you have a website too, correct?
westcoastcannabisclub.com.
Okay.
And thefirmcompanies.com on the business sales and commercial real estate side. So come and find me anytime.
All right. And you can always check out his ad every week in our online issue of CV Weekly. and which we really appreciate. So,
Of course,
all
I
your support.
love CV Weekly. I am so proud to be a sponsor of you guys. You guys have had a really incredible few years surviving all of the nonsense that has come out here. So
Thank you.
I'm really proud of you guys. I love being a supporter of you guys, and I can't wait to see where you take it.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Of course.
All right. Kenneth Churchill, people.
Big Rock Pub on July 16th at 7 p.m. The Cream of Clapton Band will take the stage for a 2-hour special performance. Celebrate the music with those who were there.
Our next guest is Alexis Spencer, also known as DJ Ay-Lex Song.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome.
Hi.
It's good to have you here.
Thank you for
We've
having
got a
me.
lot to talk about today.
I'm so happy to be here. I've heard so much about you, and this is an honor, to be honest.
Well, we feel the same way. So we're going to talk about Coachella because you played Coachella this year. But first of all, we'll get back to that. I want to get a little bit of background about you for anybody who doesn't know.
Okay.
So what made you want to become a DJ, and how did you get started? How long have you been doing this?
So I've always been into music since I was a little girl. But I think like the main turning point of it, I was in Europe one time visiting some family, and I saw Daft Punk on the TV, and I just had no idea that was even a thing, and they were DJs, and I was like, what's a DJ? And it was just like, ever since then, I was just like, I want to be a DJ. I want to do that. I've always wrote songs, and I play a lot of instruments, and I started doing DJing probably in like 2016, 17-ish. I got more serious about it in like 2018, like doing it full time. But since then, it's just been nonstop, like go, 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 like just DJing. That's it. I think that's like 8 years, I think.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah. So what kind of music do you spin when you're doing your DJ gig?
I like to play a mix of all different kinds of things, and I think I'm like well known more to be like for my diversity of music. I don't like to be categorized in one genre. And so I do everything, and what I do is like everything in genres that I like to play. So if someone books me for something and they want a certain genre in particular, I will make sure I'll put like a little Ay-Lex spin or like mix on it. And I enjoy doing it. I'll
that's
never
cool.
play music that I don't like playing.
Yeah.
But a lot of house, that's probably would be like my main genre.
Okay.
And then I love 80s. I love mixing 80s, at least like a couple 80s songs in all of my sets. I'm a huge 80s fan. And then like I like Afro house and like minimal house, and I love Latin house. I love jazz house. That's what I'm really into right now.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And you did mention before we started the interview that you also sing and you play instruments, and that you've done some acting as well.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that, because that's off the DJ path. So,
yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know this, but I used to be in like a aspiring actress, but I started getting into acting when I was in like middle school, going to like all of these plays and drama classes and stuff, and writing my own monologues and memorizing them. And I think it was around 2016, around the time before I started DJing, I started doing acting and pursuing acting. And
okay, so that came first.
that acting came first, yeah. And I actually have an IMDb, which I'm kind of proud of. There's like five things on there. Yeah.
Impressive. Okay.
So I'm kind of proud of it. And I landed like 2 leading roles in like 2017, 2018, in a film. Or 2 films, sorry. They're both on Amazon Prime with Gina Carey. And I think we
love
talked about
Gina.
I love
Yeah.
her. Shout out to Gina. But I had a bunch of huge projects after winning. I won the Rising Star of the Year for the Coachella Valley Indie Film Festival. And it was literally right after that that COVID hit. And so we had all these projects, even projects and films, really big ones that I was working on, and it just kept getting postponed.
Yeah.
Kept getting postponed, and I think it was like almost 2 years. I try to erase that time out of my mind. But yeah,
we all do.
It was a horrible time. I'm actually like, I'm happy I don't remember it. It was a really dark time. But they were telling us not to change our hair, our looks. We had to maintain how we looked when we first started doing all these projects. And then
for when you went back to start recording again.
I did one of the projects, but the other two, I just kind of dropped them. And then around that time, after COVID kind of ended, I really decided to just really hit the DJing like super full time, because with the acting and getting those lead roles, I was doing like sometimes 14, 15-hour days acting, especially like the bigger role you have, the more hours you're, and it was fun, but it was honestly like really exhausting. So it's hard to do one thing. I have passions for many things, but I feel like it's hard to do one thing. So I just, like multiple things. I think it's easier to just focus on.
Nothing wrong with that, though. You know, being multifaceted, that's always a good thing, an asset.
But I miss it, but I've left it in the dark acting in probably like
Okay, I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
3 years.
Yeah.
Sad face.
Oh, well, so you said that you write songs, okay, and you play instruments.
I do,
What instruments do you play?
I play the keyboard and the acoustic guitar. I'm not too good. I know a couple like chords and stuff. I'm not like Shredder, but but I'm okay. Yeah, I'm not like Abby Carter on the piano, but I'm okay. Right,
right. Have you thought about doing anything with the songs that you've written?
Yeah, actually. So I'm getting into like producing with music and to use that with my DJing. So I've been more focused on that, especially for this year. And I do DJing full time, so I'll do these gigs on the side, like corporate events and like the restaurant gigs and stuff like that. But I used to do like a bunch of shows and stuff like all over the place in LA, San Diego. But I decided to take a break from the shows, and I made a pact for 2025 to take a break from the shows and just focus on producing music. So I'm doing that now. But then I just got hit with like all of these huge festivals this year. So I'm just, okay, I'll do the festivals. So focusing on music, that's what but I have a couple songs with my voice like over the tracks, and sorry, I'm gonna turn off my phone.
Well, I will definitely look forward to hearing your music when you get ready to put it out there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm excited to share.
That's very exciting.
Yeah, I love to sing. Probably one of my most favorite things to do.
Huh.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to sing. I can write, but I can't carry a tune.
Really?
So
it's a lot of practice, but I'm sure you sound beautiful.
No, my husband will attest that I don't. So let's go to Coachella. How exciting. So did you play both weekends or just one weekend?
I played both weekends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And were you at one of the tents or?
I was in what they call like an activation tent. And what was really cool about this is that it was actually like inside of the festival. And I was literally like 10 footsteps away from the Heineken tent. And like you could see like all the main stages like right there in the distance.
Oh, that's nice.
And I was working with Tampax and Always, which is, you know, the brand for menstrual for women. And so that was actually their first time ever doing something with Coachella. So when I first got there on the first day as the first DJ, they were like, just so you know, we're making history today and you're a part of it. And I was just like, sick, like that's awesome. So it was a great time. It was exhausting, but it was a great time.
So you had a good experience then.
I had a great experience.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Great experience.
And how did that gig come about for you? I mean, you know, it's not easy for a local artist or band to play Coachella.
It's not. It's really not. So it was through a buddy of mine. He owns a what's it called? Like a booking agency, and they do events and stuff out here, kind of all over. But it's called Bass and Bliss, and they booked me. They were looking for female DJs for the tent in Coachella, and when he asked me like right away, I was just like, heck yeah, like, you know, I would love to.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I was even getting paid for it, but I bought 2 wristbands for the weekend and I got paid really good for it. And I made a lot of connections. And
oh, nice.
Had the best time. I had the best time. It was amazing. It was like, I don't know if you guys have seen any videos, but it was like when you open the door, it's just everything's pink and purple and sparkly. And they literally throw tampons at you. And I'm just like right there in the middle, just like DJing. And it was fun. And the best AC too in the festival. So you can't beat that.
Oh, well, yeah, especially as hot as it was.
It's horrible. It was so hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Well, good. And that's cool that you got paid. I mean, you would have done it for the experience, but
Right.
getting paid was just icing on the cake.
That's
so.
amazing. Yeah. Actually, like I've been, like even since like going full time with the DJing, I've been pretty blessed, like pretty lucky. I just took the leap and it was kind of hard for a while. And then it's just, I'm just trusting the universe. And there's no greater feeling getting paid to do like what you love.
Yeah.
You know, and it's amazing. And I'm happy I quit my 9 to 5 2 years ago. I think that was the best decision I ever made. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it's paying off for you.
I think so.
Because not only did you do Coachella, but you just did Joshua Tree Festival as well.
Yes. So yeah, Joshua Tree was one of the first music festivals that I attended ever back in like 2014, 2013 era. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, so you've really done a lot
Mm-hmm.
in your career. What are your goals for the future moving forward? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Future scares me. No, I'm just kidding. I think just focusing more on like the producing and releasing more like original music and going that way in that direction with the whole DJing thing and really starting to establish myself as an actual artist and have like my own brand. Because I was getting tired of, sorry. I get excited. I stutter.
No worries.
I was starting to feel like a poser at a certain point, like playing these big shows and playing a lot of other people's music. And I want to be able to play shows where I can play the entire show, like with all of my own music. So that's the direction I really want to go. And I want to travel globally, all over the world, playing beautiful places, DJing, and just having, I don't know, an amazing, beautiful life. I already have an amazing, beautiful life, but that's what I would want for the future.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sounds very exciting.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
What would be something that people would be really surprised to know about you?
That I am a single mom. My son just turned 4 last week.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, I did not know.
Yeah, that's a
cool.
shocker. Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Being a single mom and juggling
It's
the
hard.
career. Yeah.
It's really, really hard. And I don't know a lot of DJs that have kids, so it does make it harder, but I don't regret it at all. I've always wanted one son, and I have that, and I can't imagine life without him. So
Yeah.
And he loves the music. I brought him to Coachella actually the first weekend for 5 hours. We watched Green Day.
Oh, that's cool.
He had the best time ever. It was fun.
Yeah, kids are great. Yeah.
They're amazing.
So where are you playing now? I know you're playing at Hunter's. So like where can people go locally around the valley to see you play?
I'm kind of like all over the place, but my residencies right now is I'm at the Palm Springs Surf Club every Sunday for brunch.
Oh, that's a cool place.
Have you been?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's probably one of my most favorite places out here in the desert because it literally feels like you're in an oasis, like at a beach, because you can actually surf there, like real actual waves. So I'm there every Sunday from 11 to 3. And we're going to start doing night swims there. So it's like a night pool party with all the lights on at night. And that's like super fun. And then usually about once a week, I'm at the Thompson restaurant. It's called Lola Rose, downtown Palm Springs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like one of my most, I'm happy I have these places to play as residencies, but the Thompson is like one of my most favorite places to play too. It's really beautiful. It's really pretty. And it's lounge type vibes and super chill. And the food's really good and cool people.
So you're going to have to check that out.
Yes, it's amazing.
And then are you still playing at Hunter's?
I haven't played at Hunter's in a while. It's been almost 8 months, but I have not played there in a while, but I really did enjoy playing there. Yeah. They do want me back. So hopefully we can make that work. Like I said, I'm a full-time mom and I'm kind of like all over the place. So it's hard to do it all. And at Red Barn, I've been at the Red Barn actually quite a lot. Actually.
Oh, really?
And that place is actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I like what they've done with the inside of it.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, it's amazing.
It's totally different than anything else in the desert.
It is. I think the Red Barn is like super trending right now. Out of all the places.
That's close by. So we'll have to come and check you out sometime.
Yeah,
when you're
come
there.
check me out.
So where can people find you? I mean, do you have a website or
I'm
your
working on a
Instagram
website
or-
right now,
Okay.
but I do have my Instagram, which is it's AY_Lex Song. And so I'm on there. I have a link tree. You go to my bio. It's kind of like a website, but it just kind of has all my links and things that I've done and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, we're working on a website.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. So that information is on the screen for you to check out. And well, I want to say thank you very much for coming in today and
Thank
taking the
you.
time. It's been really nice getting to know you.
Thank you. You're super sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you.
Beach House Frozen Yogurt. Delicious frozen yogurt with a beachy twist. Sail away to paradise with every swirl. Located on Highway 111 in Palm Desert.
Looking for life to survive, to revive, dying life that needs to thrive. A fresh face, a fresh taste, innocent, I cannot place that takes me away. Breaks through changing your perspective, keeps you disconnected. Accept it, don't reject it, and don't fear the unexpected. I'm looking for life, a better way to make it through the darkness of these days. A clean slate, a clean space. Wanna take just all that it might take. Embrace the change in your perspective. Keeps you disconnected. Accept it. Don't reject it. And don't fear the unexpected. And time goes by, we hide inside, we cry till we're blind, resigned to comply. We're not looking for life. I'm looking for life to arrive in the object of obsession in your eye. I'm looking for life to expire, to walk out of what's dull and make this bright. To walk out of what's dull and make this bright. To walk out of what's dull and make this bright.
I would like to thank our guests, Barnett English from Joshua Tree Music Festival, Kenneth Churchill from West Coast Cannabis, DJ Ay-Lex Song, and Josh Heinz. I would also like to thank our main sponsor, Rocks and Records in downtown Indio. And I'd also like to thank our advertisers of the day, Desert Mirage Mobile Spa and Wellness, Big Rock Pub, and Beach House Frozen Yogurt. I'd also like to give a shout out to Phil behind the camera and to Kurt Schawacker, who is our editor and puts all this stuff together for us. And thank you so much again for watching. And that's a wrap.